welcome once again to the channel that informs you of everything, so that you can learn about the relevant aspects of your country. I am Emily, and today we are going to talk about one of the topics that has caused the most commotion recently. I don't know if you know who Edgar Allan Poe is, but that's what we are here for, to explain his tragic death. This is my colleague Jimena, and she's here to tell us a little about the life of this famous writer.
Everyone has a very good night. Thank you, Emily, for the introduction. And as my partner said, let's learn a little bit about the history of Poe. This character was a very famous writer. Throughout his career, he wrote around 16 stories and poems. He was an orphan at the young age of 2. He was raised by another person and then he attended private schools and went to the University of Virginia. But since he didn't like the job that his adoptive father gave him, he traveled to Boston and there he published his first book anonymously.
That's very interesting, Jimena. Also, we have to take into account that at the beginning his works were not successful, and he had a life with a lot of misery and poverty.
Exactly, Emily. That brings me to one of the strongest theories about how he died. It says that a long time ago he tried to enter politics, which he was unsuccessful in, but he may have made friends and later had a corrupt contact with the government.
True, but although all this is very curious and surely all the listeners are having fun, here we bring the police officers in charge of the Poe case to have the best information. So here we go with them.
Thank you for the introduction. Now we will proceed to talk about the case of Poe. In October 7 of 1849 was the date of his death. He died at the age of 40. Currently, the cause of what happened days before of his death is unknown. However, it can be stated that on September 27 of the same year, he made a boat trip and landed in Baltimore the following day, that is, on September 28. His body before he died was found by a man named Joseph W. Walker, a journalist, who called Edgar's editor. He was unrecognizable at first glance, as his appearance changed almost completely. For example, the size of his clothes were different and they cut his mustache. He was then taken to the hospital where he was found by his editor moments before he died in the hospital with him.
On the subject of testimonies, it can be said that friends and family of Mr. Poe confirmed the addiction to alcohol that he possessed. Similarly, they claimed that he was drinking in Baltimore. Unfortunately, he had a pending marriage proposal from Mrs. Sarah Royster. However, she hasn't given any statement at the moment. A suicide attempt by Edgar with laudanum was also claimed by friends and family. They speculate that his death may have been caused by the same reason, ergo, a suicide.
And do you have any other theory of cause of death apart from what was said by family and friends?
Our theories are that he died by posing excess with alcohol. Also, we have another theory about his death, which the coroner will explain shortly following the result of Mr. Poe's autopsy.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Thanks, official. First, I will explain the results of Mr. Poe's autopsy. The body of Edgar Allan Poe revealed that the cause of his death was brain swelling. Many pieces of evidence were also revealed in his body about dehydration and very badly wounds. So, the other theories about his death will be revealed to his autopsy, like, for example, brain tumor. However, his death is a total mystery, since Mr. Poe suffered from multiple diseases throughout his life, being one of these rabies. Similarly, it can be thought that his death also had something to do with mercury poisoning, since traces of mercury ingested in Edgar's body were found. He also suffered from flu and epilepsy, although epilepsy could not cause death of a person. In an accident, as a result of a blow or a different situation, he may have had an epilepsy attack and died, but he died because of the blow, not a disease.
I have to say so many thanks to the officials and the colonel for taking the time to explain in details this sad case. May you rest in peace, Edgar Allan Poe.
We're supposed to talk about the couping theory?
In an interview with a national news station isn't the best option to get involved in politics and corruption.
I'm new here, but that's not right. The country has to realize that Edgar's death was most likely caused by Judge
Yes,
Reynolds.
it's wrong. But with the time, you will realize to talking about corruption isn't the best option for sake you and your family.
It was our strongest theory, like they found him without his mustache in really big clothes for him and near a bar the day before the voting in Baltimore. Even Mr. Post said Reynolds' name before he died.
This job, sometimes you have difficult options. Sometimes you can tell the whole truth of a case. But sometimes you just need to stay there and be quiet if you don't want to lose your job or probably your life.